the things that cannot be changed, courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as the pathway to peace. May you guide us as we serve our community. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Whittick,
Here.
Beck,
Here.
Blevins,
Here.
Sperling,
Here.
Fox,
Here.
Woolen.
Here.
Previous minutes.
Make a motion to accept the previous minutes dated 10/13/14.
Second.
Any discussion, questions, corrections? Roll call, please.
Beck,
Yes.
Blevins,
Yes.
Sperling,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Wheeling,
Yes.
Whittick.
Yes. Finance report.
Make a motion to accept the finance report 11/7.
I'll second that.
Do you have any questions? Roll call.
Blevins,
Yes.
Sperling,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Wheeling,
Yes.
Whittick,
Yes.
Beck.
Yes. The District Communications. What time is the meeting start for the Heritage Council?
Heritage Council, the Heritage Council's annual meeting the dinner starts at 6:15. So the actual meeting will start following dinner, which is probably 6:34 to 7. Thursday night. At the Stryker United Methodist Church.
Let's see. Guess I can put it in here. I received from the Pines Fulton County, Pauline Williams County Soil and Water District a request where they have approved their new solid waste management plan, and they have requested that we pass a resolution to accept that or decline that. Just came in, so we haven't had a chance to look at that. That is something that will be on the next month's agenda. And there is I'm not sure what's on it, but they did include a CD, DVD. So I haven't looked at that yet, just got that today. So it will remain here, so if anybody wants to take a look at it, let's just see what's on there. You are more than welcome to do so. And again, that will be on next month's agenda. Other than that, that's everything I've received communication-wise. Any others? All right. That brings us to citizens, of which I see none. So committee reports, of which we should have two.
Let's go over this a little bit. The Finance Committee met 11/3, 5 o'clock, and the committee reviewed the proposed 2015 budget. Fiscal Officer Beth Rediger Noted that the village is still using carryover as the expected revenue is only $1,122,269. The largest shortfall is in the general fund, which supports police department. May look at different sources to increase the general fund revenue, as that has recently been cut by reduced state funding. Suggestions were check ballot language of the 0.5% income tax to see if once sewer loan is paid off, some of the revenue could be reallocated to general fund. Operating levy for the police department with the outside millage, 1 mill generates $19,401, would cost a $60,000 house $21 per mill. The village would need to collect at least 2.5 mills. Look at expenses of the depot and senior buildings. Look at adding $5 license tax fee would help street operating. Look at long-term ratifications of the sale of 36 acres of village-owned land. Fiscal Officer Beth Rediger noted the budget contains no raises or extra expenses and will be a tight budget to follow, but believes this is the best way to move forward. She will check out all the suggested general fund revenue options.
Any questions?
Questions? Most of you all were there.
Judiciary?
Judiciary meeting was also on 11/3. Discuss creating an ordinance against placing grass clippings on the curbside streets. And consensus is to have the village administrator contact residents by letter, asking them not to allow blown yard waste onto the streets as it causes drain problems, which take time and money to fix. I also asked a question, it was asked to me by a resident why there is a sidewalk fee on the utility bill when there's no sidewalk at that address. The village administrator, Gary St. John, replied, it is a result of the ordinance that's passed creating a safety pedestrian fund so that everyone can use the present sidewalk. And Councilman Whittick asked why there was a pile of leaves along Lynn Street and has not been removed. Mr. St. John said he would check into it and maybe the pile is too far off the road for the trucks to reach. And the committee then discussed making an ordinance to enforce the installation of individual water meters attachments with more than one unit. Village administrator St. John will check with the village solicitor to see if this can be a requirement upon change of ownership or as of the current date.
You and everybody was just fine with that one too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Okay, old business. First on that is the grass clippings. As we can go back to this, the Judiciary Committee had thought it best for Mr. St. John just to send out a letter to those that may be in violation of something of that nature, which Mr. St. John said would not be a problem. So is that where we're heading?
Well, if you recall, we wanted to make sure about really just Mike's approval. I think everybody else had it. The council thought it would be, instead of making another ordinance, we would be better off if, because it is a select few, that I could draft a letter if the council asked me to and send it out. I've been thinking on this and I've looked up a couple things to cross-reference. Bob and I spoke briefly after the meeting on some ideas, you know, to just cross it with maybe some EPA and section 631 of the ORC as far as drainage goes and just kind of tie it in. But just needs your approval on it. The one thing that I did as I thought this process through, it is a little late, memory-wise, you know.
For this year?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's gonna be mowing. If it wouldn't be better if we did a splash right in the spring and send it out, and then we have to send our consumer confidence report that everyone gets in the mail, you know, that your water's safe to drink and blah, blah, blah. and we could put notice, so everyone could see that same letter, just so everyone's aware of what we're trying to do, and then we'll go from there. That seem,
That would make more sense.
Yes.
At this point in time.
I also saw that that was a topic on Montpelier's agenda.
Was it?
And they are dealing with the same thing, so possibly Chris Walker would have some input as well.
okay. Didn't see that, but,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was-
doubt it though.
Got him a picture on the front page.
Okay. Also, in reference to Mr. Whittick's question on the pile, why it hasn't been picked up, it was in fact that,
It's under
yeah,
the trees.
it's under the trees.
Yeah, that'd do it.
As suspected, that's
Okay,
what's going on with that.
super. Next was water meters.
1 second, please. If we do that in the spring, on that water thing, then would that be folded right into that?
What do you mean? I'm gonna
The
do
letter?
it to everyone on a curved street, a separate letter, and then also put it in the consumer confidence
Oh.
report. And we'll also have it in the spring up here, so when they come in to do their.
So let's try to two, make sure we write up with one of the council meetings.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Hit it about three
Probably
ways.
May.
Yeah.
Well, depending on the
Well,
season.
Yeah.
Depending on the season. Yeah, might be April.
Might start as soon as March.
The meters you asked in,
Mhm.
I did send out an email to Mr. Higgins. The question was, by the council and mayor specifically, if there had to be, would there be a timetable? And so my question was to Mark, could we make this enforceable at, say, January 1, 2016 was how I put the question, giving enough time. He responded back, basically saying he really thought that was possible, didn't see why not, but he's cautious, so he wanted to do some checking and then get back with us. And he has not gotten back with me yet. I don't know what all he's got going on, but, you know, I'll touch base with him again, but, and I was surprised, but if that can happen, even the better, but,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
because that's gonna be a long time, a change in ownership. We'll all be dead before us, you know, possibly.
Yeah.
But, so that's where he's at. So we'll see what he comes up with and he's, make a draft.
Good. Last but not least, the semi-truck lot. Is that
Yes.
still on our,
Yeah, I just can't do anything right now till after the leaves are done. And, I was hoping the newspaper was here because we always cut the date off December 1, which means about 4 days later. And then we're still picking them up out of the backhoe bucket. Because what else are you gonna do with them,
I
you know?
know, I know.
But you gotta have a cutoff time, and we need to get that truck off and, you know, get ready for snow too.
Snowplow may get the rest of the leaves.
Yeah. They're right there talking already.
So that's the game plan. Then we'll just go over to, Black Swamp and get like, a medium-sized dozer or something, so we're not screwing around with it. And we'll push it all back and make like a hillside for right now, and then whatever happens to it, we can push that off and, but they may need it for top dirt or whatever, you know, if there is a company that comes in and it doesn't work out as it, like we talked about, so it'll work. I found some good stone too for that, pretty cheap, at Scott Oberlin's. I went to Paul's and, to back up some pavement that we did there, down from the fire hall. That's completed now. We backed it up. Backing it up means we put berm into it so that it doesn't crush. And I can't believe how many trucks and wagons and stuff this time of year. I mean, I've lived here 20 years, but oh my gosh, you can't even do anything during the season. But we went in and took some bigger stone. It's, well, more like fours, you know, the size of fours, but fours look too small, what Paul's had. But Scott had just crushed concrete that looked just perfect, so we laid that in there because there's a basin there and I didn't want the stone to roll in the basin. Then if you get a chance to go by it, it's quite wide, and that when I was out there even, I saw a lot of trucks and they were taking the berm. I mean, they just can't help it, or triple
Yeah.
wagons and stuff like that. So, we think we're gonna be okay with the, because we, you know, we just milled down, we put an additional layer on, we did do a full depth repair, which would be super expensive. So, we're right with that.
Is there any other old business that should come before us?
I just wanted to ask Beth, and I'm sure you probably haven't, but were you able to check any ballot language on that?
I did, and it does say exclusive capital project on the actual ballot. Actually, I have it right here. And then I have an email out to the auditor, and he is not, he hasn't returned my email yet, so I don't know if he was off. Usually he's really good about real quick returns it.
So
So-
you're trying to see if it's possible that you put something on the ballot that would grant modification to an existing,
Right, if we could
Ballot.
switch, once this is done for the sewer.
if the majority of the voters would approve
You know,
altering.
the half
Right.
percent brings about $188,000. I wanna, you know, you don't wanna take away from your capital extremely, but if you could take like half of the half,
Yeah.
or, you know, still leave your capital with money.
Yeah. Well, if you were
But-
to reallocate those funds as necessary, right now, we're in a pinch. on
But
the
I
general.
think the wording is pretty restrictive right
Mhm.
now to,
Way that reads.
it goes to
It looks to
capital.
me like it is.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I haven't got an
Attorney.
answer from the auditor, but I think you're probably,
It ain't gonna happen.
yeah.
You
But
don't
when
think
I-
they would
not
allow
without-
a ballot initiative to alter
We
something
have,
that's
we
exist-
think we came up with maybe even a better suggestion that as the first of the year comes around, I think,
Okay,
might be really appealing. I spoke with Mary Hughes on it.
but you want to wait until you get feedback from other sources before you just.
Yeah, I
decide.
wanna get an answer on
And then
this.
maybe we could have a financial committee to discuss it
Yeah.
at the committee level.
Right, yeah, we think we may have a solution, a more immediate solution
Okay.
than millage and all that.
In waiting until 2017
Yeah.
almost to see any.
Do anything, you know.
Yeah, you really want to see.
This isn't gonna help the police department, we need some immediacy, and we think maybe Scott, the board, just got a little bit more to check on it before we bring it to you folks.
Okay.
Alrighty. That brings us to legislation. First item is emergency ordinance 2014-09 to revise 2014 annual appropriations.
Well, yes, I'm going to entertain a motion to declare an emergency for ordinance number 2014-09.
Second.
Spurling,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Whittick,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Levens.
Yes.
I entertain a motion to pass ordinance 2014-09 as an emergency. Did you do something?
See, capital tax.
Fox,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Whittick,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Levens,
Yes.
Spurling.
Yes.
Emergency Resolution 11-2014-5, a resolution authorizing the administrator to enter into a contract with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield for health and life insurance coverage for the employees of the village of Stryker.
I would just suspend the rules for 2014-5.
Roll call.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Whittick,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Levens,
Yes.
Spurling,
Yes.
Fox.
Yes. Make a
Motion to pass emergency resolution 11, TAC 2014, TAC 5.
Second.
Whitting,
Yes?
Beck,
Yes.
Blevins.
Yes.
Spurley,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Wheeling.
Yes.
Somehow I have the feeling this isn't going to be a really long administrator's report.
No, leaves are about done. Like I said, December 1. We did all our hydrants flushed unilaterally. We created ourselves one water leak out of the deal. Down by Mr. Withers. We trimmed all our trees where the leaf back thing, had a problem. Wes brought his poles all in again. We went up there and whacked them all down. We had a list, Yes, the blacktop is complete and the berm. We had to auger a storm drain at Northwest Depot. And we were actually able to get into it with Archibald. So we pulled it off and they came down and took it all the way to the end. So what we found is we've got some spaces. I explained, I happened to run into the owner, Tracy, and explained to him, hey, this is what's happening, you got this much because it's fell in, but I think we can do something with that just because we won't have to go through the trees, because when we got into that inspection hole, it was only this deep. The water was running, so that means that's how much capacity we got. So that should be an easier fix. Again, not doing a lot with the leaves, and I've been picking up brush almost every day. Just because we've got the leaf, 2 guys on that all the time, and then we've got all the other stuff that we normally do. So we did do that, and we augered and dug up a sewer that we thought probably was our issue, but it wasn't. But Archibald came in, and when they were there doing the Northwest Depot, this guy had a problem, so we asked if he could go down to see, and he poked through and problem solved. Well, then shortly after that, he came back and still got the problem. We marked the spot where it was, and we thought, didn't really know. Long story short, there's roots in there. And we took, Archibald came in and brought their camera in, so he hasn't been in to look at that yet. He was gonna come in and talk to Beth, and so I made him some colored copies of it and showed him right where next time to do it, and we donated some Rudex to finish it off, and then I told him he could buy that stuff at, because it is right at our tap, but not really, it's the, and I've got pictures, and I already talked about the meter, so that's it. Question?
Don't think so. Okay. Unless, I guess I should. Village officials.
No, I don't ask.
Go.
Where do you see that?
I'm sorry?
Oh, where do you see that?
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe a few of these.
Okay.
Let's see, since our last meeting, 79 reports. We had 24 traffic warnings, 5 traffic citations, 3 arrests. Not a whole lot. Well, we were kind of busy last week, but we had November 4th, we had the canines in the school, assisted by Deputy Frisbee, Williams County. Didn't find anything in the school. We had 2 positive hits in the parking lot. Oh, I'm sorry, well, we had 1 positive hit in the parking lot with both dogs. but got a consent to search and didn't find anything, so. But obviously it was there at some point, but. Sergeant Mendez is also, and Reagan, they're attending training today and tomorrow at Owens. All pretty much the area regional K-9s are there for a couple of days of training, so he's there as well. And that's really about it.
Not too bad than last week was
A little bit.
Get your computer cloned.
What he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, that was good.
Does he know how that got infected?
It's, they're
Isn't
getting
there a
in
firewall
everywhere.
that's supposed to
We had
protect
one
our-
on the supervisor computer. And they're all pretty much, you know, those Trojan root kits. I think we had Tom here for about 2 hours on each one, so.
I had him clean up mine too while he was
Yeah.
here. I had him check it
might as
out
well,
and
yeah.
Any more of it comes in, or maybe.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean,
It does.
you really, there, and he was saying that there's really no defense to them. I mean,
None
once you get them,
whatsoever.
there's, yeah, you can navigate anywhere and get them.
Yeah, I get, my understanding, they used to just attach them to emails, but now
Right.
they're attaching them to cookies and
Yeah.
All kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Put them on your phone now through your apps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay. Any questions for Chief Schlosser? All right.
Thank you.
Good to go.
I believe that brings us to other, and I'm going to guess that probably at least a short discussion on the lease agreement with the Heritage Council, which actually expired December 31st of 2013.
That's it then.
And according to our agreement, we were supposed to give a 90-day notice of renewal. I think we missed
I
that.
think.
Is there any discussion on, I know we also included the utilities for the building. Is this something that we want to continue? Or do we want to see if the Heritage Council is strong enough to support the building on their own? What are we thinking?
I think, without knowing their financial situation, it is a small town, a small group, they've done quite well. It's definitely an asset to the community. I would hate to see them not be able to stay in the building because we shifted the burden to them, and then we would be fully responsible for maintaining an empty building rather than an in-use building. I think it's in our best interest to continue paying the utilities for them. I can attest to the fact that they are keeping the thermostat very low when
Very frugal.
All right, here.
Showed you, didn't
it was colder in the building than it was outside the parking lot.
I think it is nice that, you know, we have that type of an attraction here and that they are willing to keep it updated. Councilman Wheelan, if you'd like to switch hats and maybe give us an idea of what the Heritage Council might want, or is this something that should be presented at their meeting on Thursday?
Not sure we want to this Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, because it's the annual meeting and they have a speaker and they have all this stuff, so it might be good, yeah, I'll switch hats, but, they're not rich, but they have some money. They're doing fine. But they do have some plans above and beyond, like these utilities and this sort of thing, that they'd like to work on with that money. That would probably, I'm thinking, and so is the Heritage Council, that it's, would show more of an improvement even than, you know, kind of along what Bob said, if we have to take over the heating, lights and that stuff, then we might not be able to do the other things that might really enhance the
we had some pretty sizable costs on those two furnaces back, that was a year ago, I think.
Year.
And Terry said they're pretty much, well, they're old, you know, there's two of them.
Yeah.
And of course, the basement has always had some issues with it, but that's gonna be the next major expense, I would say, you know, is that. Otherwise, like you said, they're really good about turning the heat down. And we go in there every day, Monday through Friday, to do our samples. If you notice, there's a little thing there just to check, you gotta do one in distribution. So we use that so that, since you guys aren't in there every day, if there happens to be a water leak or whatever, I've asked Alan to go down and check, open the trap door, you know, listen for water or whatever.
Right.
And then if it's super cold, which it was the year before,
Yeah.
you know, furnaces weren't working, so.
But I think they, from my perspective of it, and I think all of them would agree that's on there, I mean, they enjoy the way this has been set up and working with the town. And I think they've done that very well.
Oh, yeah.
We come with whatever, and we don't try to just do something without you guys
I can
saying
show you a
yay or
whole
nay.
stack of emails from Rose. I
Sure.
mean, This is the ground Rose.
And is there anything official that we have to do to reenact?
Well, I think they
Bring it up
both
to
parties, you know, Terry, if you would, on the auspices with his other hat,
Yeah.
you know, bring up that we have to do that. I mean, it's already 2 years expired, so.
Yeah.
You know, if they'd like to continue on with that, and the council feels the same way, we can sign up again.
Yeah, I can bring it up definitely, but I just don't, Thursday night would be a little tough.
Okay. All right. That's my only other. Does anyone else have anything?
Does everybody agree?
Well, yeah, I guess I should say it. Is everybody good with that?
The only thing I'd like to see changed, the length of time, instead of the 5-year, maybe go to a 10-year.
Well, actually, it's only a 2-year. If you look at section B, the renewals are only a 2-year.
Oh, let's extend. That
So-
would be my only thing if we extend it out.
Yeah.
The original intention, and Terry can back me up on this, this was a really brand-new group, you know, Kent and Terry and, you know, a handful of people that had a vision. And so, at that time, you know, we wanted to assist them, and then we said we take a look at it and see if the unit grew, because we didn't really want it, per se, but we certainly didn't want it to just maintain it. You know, there was talk, and I recall Kent Jeweler being very adamant about it, but, well, the neighbor will say, okay,
Right.
and you know who that is, asked if it could be bought, and they were thinking of doing something with it, I don't know, hot dogs and ice cream, or some kind of a deal, and to take that National Registry, you know, that historical building, and change it would be, you know, just a tragedy. And so Kent was really big on it. In fact, the Heritage Group was founded by the original steering committee when we did the survey. So, you know, it was a real young one, so then they said, okay, let's see how it goes, and then they get more and more. I really envision, I've seen this group grow from day one, and, you know, I think they're gonna be as big as Williams County version of it, you know. But we can do 2 years, we can do 10, we can do whatever. I can have contracts drafted, but that's how we did it originally. That
And
was-
you're absolutely right, nobody knew at that point if there was gonna be
Right.
a year outfit or
My
tenure, but I think it's a longevity,
Oh, yeah.
it's good.
Yep.
My concern with 10 is just if we found some other use for the building and they found a more suitable location, not that I know of any more suitable locations. If we were going to go out 10 years, could we reword it to,
And/or, kind of make it open-ended.
yeah, open-ended, I was gonna say into perpetuity, but then that would, I mean, as long as the group existed, but that would pretty well remove that building from available building for the building to strike.
Well, a lot of the contracts that I've written in Help Right have an open-ended clause in it that either
You
party.
can get out. You can get out.
There's no
So
way.
it would just change so there would be no 2-year term, 5-year term, 10-year term, it would just be renewable every year upon mutual agreement.
And that would be wise, now, I know,
Why don't you just call it a memorandum of understanding or something?
Just
Yeah.
automatic.
this annual meeting, I know we've already got well over 30-some that's gonna come, which is more than we typically have, so. You know, we're still seeing a lot of interest, and we have members all over the country right now, so. But as far as the ones that actually show up here, no, that's more limited, but, yeah, like Steve said, memorandum of agreement or something, just short.
What's your thoughts, Terry, on if there is, like the furnaces need to be replaced and it's kind of a major expense or something of going in halvesies or something, is that?
Well, I think I'd say be open
Depending
to
on
looking
how
into
it
that,
budgeted.
yeah. Depending on how much it was and what they had, but.
Right, because we've never had to, I mean, you saw the contract that we put together, but we've purchased things for them and they purchase a lot on their own too, you know, I mean, it's never really been an issue, to my knowledge.
Not to my,
You know,
on their own.
on anything.
Would you look at a HVAC system as being a repair?
I look at the cap item.
Okay. Because under repair, it says tenants shall make a landlord's expense on necessary
Right.
repairs. I don't know what you run into as being a village-owned property, if our hands are tied, restricted in how we deal
Yeah,
with
that would-
village-owned
yeah, that would-
properties.
Right. No, I think, well, you know, Terry's not even in the game hardly anymore, but, you know, he kind of gave us a heads up. There's gonna come a day.
Yeah.
I think he called it an albatross.
Should we have enough time to get a new contract for January 1, 15?
Oh, yeah, we'd be doing these things.
We can have it all wrapped up for the first of the year, get you a new
We
contract.
could, yeah.
I would think so.
Just let me know, Gary,
Yeah.
if you would, and then,
It's pretty well apparently been a gentleman's agreement handshake for the past 2 years.
More, yeah, pretty much.
It works.
Okay,
Just
I-
to try to get caught up with it.
Yeah.
I'll
absolutely.
pass that
Yes.
on.
Just helps me.
I have one other item when you,
Okay, go ahead.
I included in your packets the line item by line item copy of the budget. If
Yeah.
everyone's okay with that, I just wanted to note that I would change it into ordinance form for the December meeting. That's the appropriation.
Please do, I think we all agree.
Yep. Anything else, gentlemen?
Just want to thank Terry for allowing us to have a quick tour before the meeting and see what they are doing down there, and it's nice to go back and see those slices of history there.
You're welcome. Anytime, if anyone wants to come down, we always meet the second Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock.
And is there any additional? If not, entertain the motion.
Motion that we adjourn.
Second.